Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel where Sportitos talk about a different kind of game, the reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hey, I actually had like a joke that I was supposed to say, like you're my number one, but I do not remember what it was.
Maybe you'll remember it later. We'll just pick it up later. All right. For this episode of the Council of Titos, we are giving our thoughts about episode 5 of Survivor Season 42 entitled I'm Survivor Rich. The council is going to give their highlights and lowlights for the episode as well as their thoughts and predictions for the upcoming episodes. And let's get right into it. Let's go into our highs. I know that I've got a huge high for this week. You want to start us off though, Jao?
Yeah, sure. Shipwheel Island, or apparently that's what they call it. But
yeah,
I kind of like Prisoner's Dilemma Island, but it's a bit longer to say. So, Shipwheel Island. Like both Lydia and Roxroy played it smart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, like all we've seen for this season was people like not playing it correctly. The only person that kind of played it correctly was Omer, but like and Jenny, Omer and Jenny. This time they both played it smart, given that they were both being kind of cagey with each other.
Yeah.
Like if Roxroy really was giving Lydia like absolutely nothing, and admittedly Lydia was also kind of cagey, then like the best thing to do really is to protect your vote. Although Roxroy could have done what Omer did, but I suppose that's his character.
Yeah, he's a very I think that he borders on being a little too nice. But yeah, I mean that was also my thinking. Like, okay, he knows that Lydia kind of needs her vote because she's going to tribal. So she's gonna need that vote. So she's not necessarily going to risk it. So he had that opening to risk, but he didn't. So yeah.
Well, I guess part of it, at least in if we look at like the previous Shipwheel Islands, right, and how people were all about like big moves, that might have been something that was going through his head, like, all right, this person is kind of young and somebody that's wanting to check off the Survivor bucket list might want to do a big move on this thing that's never been seen before. So they got to play, or they played it right, even if Lydia said that she was like on the outs, even though she was in the majority alliance. But,
It was weird that she thought that she was on the outs, especially after how it basically her alliance partner, Hai, has gotten really so much stronger in the game.
Yeah, so either my thought was like, was she lying? It could have been her just being sneaky, or it could have been just a carryover from the previous tribal where she was damn near voted off. So it's one of those two. At least that's what I was thinking when I was like, I thought you knew that you were in the majority alliance. But then there was something else that Hai said later on in the episode. Like, we have to make sure that Lydia doesn't think she's on the outs.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't catch that.
I think he said that, if I remember correctly. Anybody that's like watching or listening, tell us in the comments if I'm just hearing things, if I'm just hearing what I want to hear. But I seem to remember that he said something like, we got to make sure that Lydia doesn't play her shot in the dark, or something to that effect.
Oh,
just so they have the numbers going into tribal.
Was he talking about Lydia though? Wasn't he talking about either Chanel or Daniel?
Would be.
Speaking of Daniel, finally, finally, Daniel gets voted out. Oh my gosh, that is such a high for me. I know that not a lot of people will quite agree with my assessment, but I am so happy that he finally got voted out. Um, we started out thinking that okay, well, Daniel, we don't want him to win, but we'd love to hang out with him. And then I later on I started like getting disillusioned by the at least the character that he was portraying on the show, right?
Yeah.
And then knowing some of his background because of what of all the pre-show promotional materials, or the pre-show interviews that they did, or confessionals that they did, quote unquote
Mhm.
confessionals. uh it sort of left a kind of a bad taste in my mouth. The way that he played for me, and I know that you'll have a reaction to this. It was too much that of a politician through and through.
Mm.
I mean, he gave a lot of caveats. Yeah, yeah, even from the first tribal all until here. I don't want to scramble. I don't want to scramble. So he's trying to. I guess he's trying to lower his threat level in that sense. I don't want to scramble, but I just want to talk to each and every one of you one on one, just so that we can have a heart to heart. Dude, come on. And then Hi calls him out as BS. Dude, that's not scrambling. That's what you need to do. You're just
Yeah.
yeah, you're just realizing that's what you need to do, and then you have to do it, right? And then he plays up to people, like he butters them up, right? He sucks up to Lydia by saying that, and I was baffled by his description of Lydia as like the queen maker. I'm like, wait, why is Lydia the queen maker? But anyway, so yeah, he's trying to butter her up by saying that she's got this power. And then even with Mike in the tribal, like, yeah, we're gonna be friends till the end, right? And then for that one, it was Chanel who called out his BS. Like, that's just part of his game. That's his thing. And then he had all of this self-deprecation thing, where like he would downplay his contribution to challenges, so he wouldn't help. He wouldn't participate. Of course, the the scandal there was that he went out fishing but didn't catch any fish anyway. uh and then in tribal, he goes with like the whole, I'm not an analogy guy, I'm just this poor guy who just got caught in a lie, and his partner didn't have his back. Like, you can just have pity on me, like, and for me that was too much like a, I read that at the very least, as playing too much like a politician, trying to downplay his threat level, while maybe, we don't know, I'm not sure, but he probably strategized something like, okay, later on I'm gonna catch all of these guys, and get them out into the end, in the end. But I'm just so happy that he finally got voted out, and that there's no redemption island, or whatever, exile island on this season. Yeah.
Actually, for me, Daniel was one of Daniel not getting voted out, but like the way that Daniel was edited was one of my downs,
Oh.
right? Because like I know that he has a good story. It's
Mm-hmm.
just they edited him to look like a non-lovable Xander,
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
right? Because every move that he was making was a misread of the situation,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? Because like that, like the way that Xander was edited, or apparently Xander's game from last season was uh, the thing that lost him the million was he didn't have any sort of social awareness,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And that was Daniel.
Mm.
That was Daniel. And like I'm sure he has a nice story, leukemia survivor,
Yeah.
whatever, like all of that. And I guess it's a down in the sense that he wasn't able to take control of his own narrative.
Mm.
Basically, he gave the editors the material um to make him look like an unlovable Xander.
But where do you think he lost if it was intentional or if it was unintentional, where do you think he lost the control of his narrative though? He was playing he was playing it that way basically the entire time.
He had a great opportunity when he dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah.
He had the great opportunity to like play that as I am a weak person, but I'm going to try to be strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Which is, which I think is sort of, which is a good story, which is an
Yeah.
appealing story. I don't know how well it's going to work in Survivor, but like he had that great opportunity. But then after, I would say after that first tribal, like it all just went downhill for him. So, I suppose the down there isn't so much the fact that he got voted out because, like, yeah, the character wasn't a great character, but the down was I know that he could have been a better character. If that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And Survivor, I mean, Survivor is about one of the things about Survivor is like you overcome your difficulties, right? So that he what you said about him starting out on a real low and trying to overcome that could have been something that might have won him the $1 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, something probably happened that broke his spirit that yeah, he wasn't able to continue with his story because he if you really think about it, his story should be inspirational. His
Yeah.
story should be inspirational because he's a leukemia survivor. He wants to inspire kids. He's he's what Jeff would want in a castaway that he would feature. Someone who
Yeah.
can feature who can inspire future survivor contestants, right? Or survivor fans.
Yeah.
But
So like all around, it was just a wasted opportunity for something that could have been so great.
yeah. Yeah. So I get how that's a low. But now let's not dwell on the lows. What are your other highs?
Jonathan calling Jeff Mr. Jeff.
Such a nice guy. Such a nice guy.
It's like, like I know that Jeff likes Marianne, but he just seems to be like so in love with Jonathan.
Right? Yeah. Such a
But really, the high there is it looks like coming into the merge, and I guess this is for touching like dipping a toe in our moving forward.
mm,
Um Coming into the merge, it looks like the editors are trying to set up fractures in the tribe or cracks in the tribe, right?
mhm.
Like, even though like Taku's cracks are nothing compared to like
The
the
chasms that are in Ika and Vati.
if I may use profanity like Marianne, the cluster frick that is the rest of I don't know, that is the other tribes, um,
Yeah.
like they're showing cracks in the tribe, but even with the cracks in the tribe showing, they still managed to show Jonathan being a very reflective guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just I guess it's just because I am a teacher in a school that values reflection as something that we like to encourage our students to do or whatever. But when people think about where they are in relation to others, how they should act,
Mm-hmm.
um knowing what they know about themselves and what they know about others for the um greater good
Greater
or
glory.
whatever.
Yeah. Or the
Yeah, for the
greater good.
greater
Yeah,
glory.
I mean, I'll just come out and say it. Jonathan is such a man for others, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he is, and that's like the
you know
slogan of the school you're teaching at, and then that's also the school where I graduated from in high school, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
so it's like,
it's really cool. Yeah.
yeah, he's got that vibe
Mm-hmm.
going, and it's like that was quite refreshing to see somebody be reflective but not self-absorbed,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because I think that's fairly rare to find on TV.
Yeah, yeah. And even in Survivor, right? It really rounds out his character as really one of the stronger players in this season, right?
Even though he was like in the wrong because Marianne was the one that was walking in his direction, like he was definitely in the wrong there.
Wait, so you're siding with Marianne in that?
Yeah, because he was just stationary, and Marianne was like, oh no, he was in the right because Marianne was walking, and she could have just like moved. Yeah, sorry, flipped it, got it the other way around. Got it the
Yeah,
other way around.
right. Even
But
he was in the right there.
yeah.
Marianne was just walking towards him. He just put down the bamboo and started hitting it. And yeah, the fact that he took the high road with Marianne shows his character. In the end, he didn't push his agenda because of course he also knew that if he did push his agenda, if he did push uh, whether or not he thought he was right, it was gonna seem as if this big brawny guy was bullying this little girl.
Yeah.
So
So
he
like
also
at the end,
thought of that way. Yeah.
so at the end of like who was right or wrong in that moment doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. That
Yeah. What
was
matters is that okay, we continue to cooperate, we continue to live with each other. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that he's a strong player.
Which
Speaking
means
of
he might
strong
be
players,
getting voted out.
I hope that he doesn't. I really hope that he goes deep because he reminds me of James from Survivor China. At the very least, I don't know if you've seen that season already,
No.
but there was this other guy, James from Survivor China, big brawny guy, big brawny dude as well, but really nice. Especially in Survivor China, he was that he was a big brawny guy, but really nice, really served, really was there to provide for others. Sort of similar in spirit to Jonathan. Later on, he became a little bit more strategic, a little bit more conniving. But yeah, in Survivor China, he was really that nice big dude, and that's what I'm seeing with Jonathan, right?
All right. What are your other ups?
Oh, so for me, well, aside from Jonathan being really highlighted very well as a strong character, not only with his character, but he again showing how he was just a challenge beast, bringing back from the brink of tribal after Omar's bungle with the rope, right? Omar was taking so long, and then all of a sudden, when the key went down, takes the key, unlocks the machete, whacks the rope, and then in his what in within 5 attempts, at least with what we saw, he takes down both of the things, and they won coming from behind against Vati, right? So that him, I really like how we're starting to see some of the stronger players getting highlighted better. So there's Jonathan on Taku, for me, at least for me, I'm seeing one on each tribe. You've got, of course, High. I'm sure that you're still high on High. I'm still on the high road. So we've got High on Vati. So because he's literally steering that tribe. Right? He's the one who's he had that great idea regarding trustworthiness of people. Like when now it's time to cut the fat, and Chanel and Daniel are the fat. So it's time to because they're the least trustworthy in the group, right? And then of course we have the source of the quote from where the title of this episode is from. So we've got Drea. Drea is really survivor rich. She found the beware advantage, and finally the beware advantage has finally been activated. Right?
We were bamboozled by the editors.
Yeah, bamboozled by the editors. We thought it was Tori, but no, it's Drea. So yeah, and the plus with her is that only her and Romeo know about her beware advantage on her tribe at the very least, right? And then she has the advantage amulet. She has an extra vote, and if you really think about it, she's a physical threat on her own.
Yeah.
Right? because isn't she the one who's like a runner or something like that?
She's like a fitness. She's a fitness like consultant or something.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know, or whatever. I'm not sure.
So there, I mean, yeah, Drea, she is Survivor rich. She holds a lot of the cards right now, and if other people find that out about her, it paints a huge saga on her back.
Yeah.
And moving forward, it's gonna be interesting how she's gonna manage that.
She's a fitness instructor.
She's a fitness instructor. There you are. So
Yeah,
yeah.
what was something that I found quite interesting about this particular cast was, when we look for physical strength, naturally we looked at Jonathan Roxroy and Mike,
Mike.
but like low-key, the girls in this cast are strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like Swati,
Mm-hmm.
Drea,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Even Tori to a certain extent is strong.
yeah, so it was like, okay,
Yeah.
good to see that they're sort of spreading that out as well in
Mm-hmm.
among the cast, that like physical strength isn't that physical strength should ideally be coming not only from the dudes,
Mm.
but the girls should be able to carry their weight as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just,
It's great that we have that. Uh yeah, unfortunately, well, yeah, Chanel, we haven't really seen her do a lot of physical stuff, or excelled in physical stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure if we can count on Lydia to be physically strong, but yeah, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt until she still didn't catch the key last episode twice, so I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Do you have any? Well, I just want to go ahead with one of my other highs. Um, I like the character moments we're getting for Mike. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Einstein.
Dude, but yeah, the character moment, like that whole thing, the way that he put in his phrase, that was so awkward. He was like looking around. At least the editing of it, like, hey, Jeff, I want to say something. It was like, what does what you're saying have anything to do with what's being discussed? Oh my gosh. It was such a
Oh man.
sus thing to say at that point in time, but it shows how he's not a subtle guy. Like, and
Yeah.
Daniel points that out in Tribal. Mike is a straight shooter. He doesn't, I don't think that he has any any part of himself that gives into to subtleties. He when sees something, he's gonna say something about it, right? So yeah, it was really fun to see that playing out, that whole thing, or the saying of all of the phrases, because if you really think about it, it was only Drea who was able to smoothly put it in,
Right.
because she had the food, she had the potato. Although if
Yeah.
the other tribes really think about it, wait a minute, we
They don't
haven't
get potatoes.
yeah, we haven't gotten any potatoes. Why would she say something about a potato, right? So yeah, it's like, yeah, but I like the fact that we're getting those character moments for Mike, and even towards the end, I just got this when I watched the episode, that it shows that he's such a firefighter, because heading out from Tribal, they actually pass through all of these bombs, and they've got their torches. The others would just go through. Mike, on the other hand, intentionally tilts his torch away from the bombs. So he still got that,
Yeah.
I'm a firefighter, I don't want to burn this spot, right? So it was so cool and cute to see that in Mike. It endears him to me at the very least.
I did not notice that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like now, I wanna watch it again now. Just sorry, going back to the challenge though.
Mm,
Yeah, going back to that immunity challenge, it was really the editing, more than anything else, because I think more than Jonathan winning it, it was Mike losing it.
mm,
Because like right now I have the screen open, where Jonathan knocks down the second little circle thing, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like orange bags on the
Oh,
floor.
so it wasn't that fast, basically.
Yeah. So like I think it was Mike. I think it was Mike
Mike and
losing it.
Chanel. It was actually Mike and
Yeah, Mike,
Chanel.
Mike and Chanel losing it. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
very, very clever editing
Hmm.
again to try and show the cracks in the tribe and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. And to show like Jonathan, okay, saving the day once again. Super
Yeah,
Jonathan. Mr.
yeah, but
Jonathan.
it was yeah, I think it was more like Mike and Chanel losing it
Hmm.
for Vati.
I was
Uh,
actually thinking that, oh gosh, if Vati loses this again, Mike is gonna have a huge target on his back because he didn't do what he said he would do. Because he said that he wasn't gonna say his phrase. And good on
yeah,
him for saying his phrase. Because otherwise he wouldn't have had a vote for that night. Right?
yeah,
So yeah, if and what would have, yeah, and because he was the one who threw first. He was the one who threw first, and then he that
mm,
whole thing where he fell, and then he had another time where he put the sandbag and it just fell down because he
yeah,
wasn't holding on to it. So it could have really been disastrous for Mike. It could have been really disastrous for Mike.
yeah. Speaking of tribal, that was one of my ups.
Oh,
That
do
that
explain.
tribal, um, because of what Chanel did in voting for
Mm,
Mike. Like to my mind, that was like, you know, as somebody that as somebody that isn't used to watching Survivor, I I I was like, huh? Mike? I thought it was gonna be like a 3-2, where like either Chanel is voted out or Daniel is voted out. Like, huh, Mike. Why did Chanel vote for Mike? And then it just all kind of made sense.
mm.
Um that she would I know that she would vote for Mike just in case Daniel played his shot in the dark.
Oh, because if okay, so
If Daniel plays
she wouldn't put her vote on Daniel.
because if he's safe
Mm-hmm.
after playing the shot in the dark, the only other person that has votes is her.
Mm.
So if Daniel plays his shot in the dark, which he should have,
Mm-hmm.
um, then Chanel gets a vote and Michael gets a vote, and then they revote.
They revote. And then
So,
yeah. Mm. Yeah,
so like,
okay. I because I was actually thinking, why the hell did Chanel vote for Mike? Your explanation does make sense. No, that's cool. Yeah, anyway.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hope I'm right. I hope that's what happens. Like in the beginning of next episode, Chanel goes to confessional and says it was just in case Daniel plays the shot in the dark. Like,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Admittedly,
that's a really cool observation, dude.
admittedly, I stole that from one of Rob Sesternino's podcasts.
Oh.
Like somebody mentioned that was like probably why she did it.
Mm.
So like it made sense to me. It was like, oh my god, that is so smart.
Mm. Oh,
Like
that is so cool.
you know,
That's so cool to yeah. Now that makes sense. Yeah, and it makes sense. You're the one who watches the podcast. I just go off my reactions from the from the episode. Yeah, but it does make
I
sense.
need something to do while driving to the office.
Oh, that makes sense too. Because I don't really drive to the office yet. I'm work from home up until now. So anyway, yeah, that does make sense. It makes sense now because I actually had that as a note in my thoughts. Like, why did Chanel vote for Mike? Okay, that no, that makes sense. Cool. That is so cool. Wow. Any other highs for you?
um, I don't know if this is a high, but it's kind of exciting to see a 4-4-4
Mm,
coming into a merge.
mm-hmm. At least
And
everything's a little, well, not necessarily balanced because we already know of a couple of them who are probably gonna jump ship.
Yeah.
But it's just nice that it's like even numbers. Everyone's on even numbers for the start.
Yeah. Maybe we should move on because I get the feeling that our moving forward is going to be really long.
Yeah, true. Okay, but before we move on, we have to listen to the thoughts of our dear friend Martin with Martin's thoughts with Martin.
Martin.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Okay, for my high, I gotta go back to the last episode and say I was wrong. Mike did a good job of holding it down, not saying his line until the other two people gave their lines in the challenge in this episode. So, yeah, Mike's on the high list. I guess let's go to the Taku tribe once more. They're on the high list. After trailing the challenge, they once again go with a come from behind victory and won, and Vati lost once more. So it's like, what, 4 people per tribe now?
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Taku. Our
Taku.
high for the week. Or at least the come from behind victory. Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. That was such a good survivor moment, I would like to say. Right? Taku's come from behind victory after that big bungle by Omar and with a rope and the key. And yeah, well, yeah, Martin also commended Mike for finally coming out and saying it, because really, if he hadn't said it, he might have been in serious danger, because the Chanel or Daniel could have put forward the idea, oh, you know what, it was his fault. He was the one who didn't. He was the reason why Taco came back, right?
Yeah. So good on Mike.
Yeah, yeah, very very fortuitous that he decided to raise his hand and also awkwardly say his phrase. Now moving
Balls.
on
He
to
got
the
balls.
he got balls. He got balls. Moving on to the lows.
Martin's up. Mike's balls.
Peace, Martin. We love you, dude. Anyway, moving on to the lows. What's your low?
Um, I know that this is I know that the story that they're trying to tell is tribes fracturing because they're coming into the merge,
Hmm.
but I really liked the secret scene from Ika.
Oh, there's a secret scene from Ika.
Yeah, the secret scene from Ika was just a really great sort of survivor moment.
What was it about?
Roxroy caught an octopus.
Oh,
And so they were having like octopus, they were grilling octopus and all that. And it was a great like tribe bonding moment, you know? Like they won the challenge, whatever. Roxroy, gets an octopus, and Romeo was like grilling it or something, and like Dreo was, like they had this nice moment of tribe unity, this rare moment of tribe unity, strength, and it was such a nice sort of feel good moment. And they didn't show it in the episode
because it didn't fit in with the story.
Yeah, it didn't fit it, which is why, like, it I really do think that the story that they're telling is the tribes falling apart.
And that's the low.
Yeah, because it was such a great survivor moment. It was when it was the Ika version of seeing Hai and Mike hug after the immunity challenge last week. and
I get
yeah,
what you're saying. I get what you're
not
saying.
seeing that because Ika is the one tribe that doesn't have any like feel good moment.
Mm, mm,
Like they haven't. I don't think they've had a single feel good moment throughout the entire season so far.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I suppose like not including that one feel good moment was a bit of a down considering that like we got High and Mike making up.
Hugging it out, man, hugging
Yeah,
it out.
hugging it out. All right.
And then you've also got like the Omar and Jonathan bromance on Taku.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, another down,
Mm.
or this could have actually been an up because it was funny. Um, Jonathan speaks llama. You can tell which of the old seasons I've been watching.
He can talk with people with people from that season. But anyway, yeah, I'll jump in on that low slash high. But yeah, and also with your thought about the story so far being tribes getting fracturing at the very least, right? So here, and especially in this episode, Taku Strong might not be as true, right? As it was as Jonathan made it out to be. You've got Marianne, whom we already pointed out, like, oh, her energy isn't that high anymore. So she must be, and I said something like it must be the stress of having been out there for like 8 days, 8 or 9 days. Now her energy, that idea, that thought of wearing her emotions on her sleeve, plus the stress of everything is becoming really uber annoying. It's becoming really uber annoying, and yeah, we go back to that incident with her and Jonathan with the bamboo, with her basic practically placing her foot underneath the bamboo that Jonathan just put down, thinking that nothing bad would ever happen. And then all of a sudden complaining because Jonathan was doing something that he needed to do because they needed firewood. And I'm assuming that was for firewood. And then complaining about it. And then saying that was her workspace. What was she working on? Right. So she was just walking around basically. So I don't see how that was her workspace, and how she was like, okay, this is where I work and you shouldn't be working where I'm working, right? And on the other side, you've also got Jonathan, who's being shown as getting frustrated, right? First with the Lama Talk incident, right? With Lindsay and Marianne's constant talking, and more obviously when Omar bungled the rope portion of the challenge. I
Yeah.
mean, he you could and it was and even Probst pointed it out, frustration showing on the face of the Taku tribe, and then it was focused on Jonathan. Yeah, I'm guessing that they didn't want to show him, Taku tribe didn't want to show him being too dominant, because if you think about it, he was the one who figured out that same rope braid thing in the
Yeah.
previous challenge. Why wasn't he the one being who was tasked to do the rope braid thing for this challenge? Because I'm thinking it's because if he had still been the one doing that, it would have yet again been Jonathan all the way, right?
Yeah.
It was like this the entire time while Omar was doing that part of the challenge, you could see on Jonathan's face, he was like, put me in, coach, put me in, coach. I'm raring to go. I'm raring to go. So that as soon as the key fell down, he just picked the key, he took the key, unlocked everything, went at it, and then did the rest of the challenge himself. And they won. Right. So yeah, Taku Strong might not be as true as it's made out to be, or at least
Yeah.
editing is making it not as true as it's made out to be, right? And yeah, it seems to be up to Omar to keep the peace. It seems that he's like the spiritual guide of this tribe, right?
I wonder what his reaction is going to be when he finds out that he doesn't have a vote.
Who doesn't have a vote?
Omer.
Oh,
That's one of the things that hasn't been paid off yet because they haven't been to tribal since he went to the island with Chanel.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's gonna be bad for him. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it later in our next in the next portion. But yeah, that is gonna be big for him, right? That's gonna be a big revelation for him.
Yeah, so like in the back of my mind, this is also like another potential source of like the fracturing of Taku.
Mhm.
You know,
Any other lows that you've got?
um, Tori. You know, she just seems like somebody that I wouldn't hang out with.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I
She's
mean,
being painted as very much a villain, actually.
yeah. I mean, I I guess that could be both an up and a down, right? Like same with Daniel, could be an up and a down because you know it's a great TV.
Mm.
So I guess I'll just put her in the down in the same way that I'm putting Daniel in in a down that like such a villain and you're supposed to not like villains. So sorry Tori, I'm rooting against you.
But would it also have been possible that she's like that because of the circumstances that she found herself in? Like had she probably been in, say, for example, the Taku tribe, would she have been better liked? But we would never know. We will never know
We don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had, like, say for example, had she and Lindsay switched places, what would have happened? But then again, but you have to think, you have to go back to the fact that she went into the game already scheming,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, yeah, she's a villain. She's a villain.
So oh, something that I forgot to mention in the ups. I liked Roxroy's admitting that, like, you know what, my social game is terrible, like, and just like, okay, let's move forward. I'll ride on your coattails. Like what else was it that he said? Because he was blindsided
Yeah.
essentially, and like that's a great opportunity to be tremendously bitter,
Mhm.
and I think by not being bitter about it, or at least not appearing bitter about it, and spinning it in such a way that he managed to not make them look like villains was shows good social game, I guess.
The person who says that his social game isn't up to par showed good social game by
Yeah,
not being
yeah.
bitter. Mhm. Yeah, for me it showed a level of maturity that I think a guy like Roxroy would have.
Yeah,
Like he's above the he showed that he was above the game. Like, okay, this is a game. Okay, he's very self-aware in that sense.
yeah,
He's not self-aware in thinking that other people might have their ways of doing things because it's his way or the highway. But he is very self-aware in knowing that when his social game isn't up to par.
yeah. And that is, to my mind, a great social move.
Mm.
He was able to pander in the way Daniel wasn't able to.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry, I forgot to mention that in my ups.
It's
It was
okay.
just because we were talking about Tori, and like that was the thing. Tori's like
With the side eyes and the
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So anyway, any other lows that you have?
I kind of like this episode actually.
Yeah,
Like
actually, me
it's a
too.
good setup. It's a good setup for what is hopefully an explosive like merge.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead and listen to what lows our friend might have on Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin.
Martin.
Yeah.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Now for my low. Low for Vati once more. I mean, the only one that could have gotten a high was who? Lydia? For playing it safe and not doing a stupid move like what Chanel did and risked it and lost her vote. But then again, that was a very interesting tribal council, that episode a few episodes ago. You know, the one where Jenny got voted out. And yeah, I guess Daniel is on the low because he got voted out this episode. You know? And yeah, that's it for low for me.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Wow, even Martin was having a hard time finding a low, right? That goes to show how good this episode was,
Yeah.
I think. I'd like to think, right? So
Or
yeah.
just how like meh it might have been.
Because
It's not polarizing, which
yeah,
in a world where everything is so polarized makes this episode pretty good.
yeah, because I mean, we had a lot to say about our highs, but I had to. It was sort of like gun to the head, thinking about the low, and even Martin sort of felt the same way,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, this was a pretty good in the not good like fantastic episode, but good in the
Yeah.
good and bad kind of discussion.
This is
Yeah.
an episode that didn't suck.
There you go. It was not bad. So it was good. There. All right, moving on to our thoughts and predictions. First things first.
Oh,
Is it a merge? It is not a merge, or not quite a merge, right?
according to Jeff, is the hourglass coming back?
Oh, that is a question. That's actually a question I have also. Is the hourglass coming back? Because there's 12 of them. It's sort of similar to what happened in season 41, where you'd have you'd have equal teams, and then you'd have two people on the outs,
Yeah.
and then the winning team would choose who to bring with them. So in a way, I think that they might still bring back the hourglass. They might still bring one of them to Exile Island and offer that option. But much like a lot of the things that they've already done in season 41, I hope that they tweak it.
Yeah.
I hope that they tweak the hourglass. Yeah, changing the direction of history is a little too powerful for me, right? And yeah, what about you? Do you think the hourglass is coming back?
For sure. it was too like, and if they do change it, the first thing I hope they change is that they don't break it, they just turn it over,
Mm. Mm.
because that's what
What?
you do with an hourglass.
Yeah, because if the analogy is like you change the course of time, you don't stop time, right? Because if you break the hourglass, you're technically stopping time, right?
Yeah. So if you turn it over, then rewind.
Yeah.
How could they make it better though?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. How would they tweak
Like
it
tweak it.
to make it better? Huh.
It's like since yesterday, after watching the episode, I knew that was going to be something that that I was going to bring up, and I pretty much knew that you were going to bring it up as well. And I still can't think of any way that they could like make it better, or make it better.
Yeah.
Not that it's good,
mhm.
because it isn't necessarily good. now that we think about it. But like, how could they tweak it like they did with all of the other stuff?
Yeah.
That
How
makes
would
it more not better. That makes it more palatable. There, I guess that's the
maybe?
better word.
Oh, whew, how would they do that? How would you tweak the hourglass? Because if you going by the metaphor, so you're turning back time. So what? They have a second. They have a second challenge with those teams, and then they're the ones who get to pick where they want to go. It might not be, yeah, right. It might not be. It might not be exactly. It might not be what like what happened in season 41, where you just switch the two teams, and it's the other team that has to compete for immunity. Uh, hmm. How would you do that? How would you do that? Because it would have been weird if, okay, let's turn back time, and then those who lost will get reward. Yeah, I actually don't know. I seriously don't know how you do that. Let's ask our viewers if you have any thoughts or ideas how you can tweak the hourglass to make it better, to make it more palatable. Although for us Filipinos, that was a good thing to happen because yeah, Eric won.
Erica. Yeah, like I don't know, just my initial sort of thought when I first watched season 41, and after thinking about it for like a week or two, was a good way to tweak it might have been if the person that's given that choice gets immunity either way. But that makes it even more powerful. But at least it
Hmm.
becomes a more interesting like choice. Because in Erica's case, right, like in order for her to get immunity, she had to you
Sacrifice
know
everyone else.
turn back time or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe if she gets immunity either way, it would be a more interesting moment. But then that really wasn't the problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you needed to make it a compelling choice. Well, it wasn't compelling enough because if you didn't get immunity in one way, or at the very least, if you don't turn it, you get a different kind of advantage, maybe.
Well, perhaps.
Right? You get a different kind of advantage. You probably get an idol that's not just for one episode, right?
Hmm.
If you don't turn it. But if you turn it, you're not going to compete for elimination or something.
How
I don't
about
know.
how about then? How about something like compete, then whoever wins gets the merge feast,
Mhm.
but um, well, I guess more or less the same thing, but instead of just like turning back, flipping the hourglass on the immunity, uh, the person that's on the outs flips the hourglass on the challenge. I think you mentioned this earlier. And so, like, if they don't flip the hourglass, then winning team gets food and immunity. If they
Mhm.
do flip, then they have to do the challenge again for immunity.
Yeah, but that's exactly what happened for 41, right? So the winning team of yeah, the team that won chose Nasir to go with them to the
Yeah, to,
feast,
to the feast.
and
Yeah.
then they technically wouldn't have to compete for in the elimination challenge. And then Erica went to the island, and
Yeah.
then she broke the glass because this other team, the losing team, was supposed to compete for in the elimination challenge, but it got switched up. Now
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
the winning team that would compete for the elimination. So yeah,
No, and sorry, the thing that I forgot to mention was Mr. Jeff makes it clear to them that that's what's going on.
mm,
So there's also that added layer of um strategy
mm, mm. It
in
changes
send,
because if
in,
you
in,
if
in
you
sending the
yeah,
person, and knowledge is power.
yeah, Yeah, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how probes and the producers tweak this coming episode. It is a, as you mentioned last episode, it's gonna be a 2 hour episode, so
Yeah.
it's gonna have all of that. Um, yeah, I'm thinking my thought, my feeling is still add a different kind of advantage for the person who, a different, yeah, whether he or she turns the hourglass or breaks it, he will have a different kind of advantage if he turns, a different kind of advantage if he doesn't turn. And that's my thinking, because it right now is just a little too powerful. As it was in season 41, it was just a little too
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah. So yeah, other, do you have thoughts or predictions?
Who's going to so we're coming into the merge.
Mm.
One of the questions that I have is who's going to jump ship?
Oh, for me, it's clear. Tori is gonna jump ship.
Yeah, I mean,
She's definitely gonna jump ship. Chanel probably is gonna jump ship as well.
And who are they
She-
going to? Oh yeah, go ahead.
we don't really know. But they're probably going to start looking for other alliances. They're gonna try and form alliances with the other tribes, with members of the other tribe. Right. So yeah, I see that happening. Tori's definitely going to do it. Chanel, because she feels she's on the lowest, she's lowest on her tribe, on Vati. She's gonna find another alliance out there. Uh, maybe she might be able to join Drea and her quest for a female majority, right? I know, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Drea dropped that idea already, right? But yeah, that's still something that might happen.
She could, she could try to rekindle that
Yeah.
thing with Omar.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, because they connected. They sort of like, yeah, they weren't as KG as Mike and Lydia, right?
Yeah.
They
The-
were sincere to each other, as sincere as they could be. And then
Yeah,
you've
as
also got
sincere as
the,
Survivor allows you to be.
yeah, you've also got the amulet, the advantage amulet trio, right?
Yeah.
You've got High, Drea again, and Lindsay. So you've got those three. They might come together, right? So yeah, who knows? That's something that might happen.
Something that I should have included in my notes is like coming into the merge, who has what?
Well, Drea, it has a ton of stuff.
Dre has everything
Yeah.
basically.
Marianne has an extra vote and
vote.
an idol, a not so hidden immunity idol. Mike has a not so hidden immunity idol, and I think that's it. And that's it.
Omar
Yeah.
is down a vote.
Omar is down a vote. High has the advantage amulet. So does Lindsay. Aside from that, who else? Yeah, because Chanel's not voting was already reconciled. Yeah, that's it. That's what we've got going into the merge.
Right. And Drea is the one that has the idol that the most of that her tribe doesn't know about, because
Yeah,
the
because
idols of Marianne and Mike are basically public knowledge at this point.
Yeah, because they shared it with, yeah, except most likely more likely than not, Marianne and Mike know that Drea has the idol.
Oh, they definitely do.
Yeah, so
Right, because it's on their
that's-
paper, man.
Yeah, so that's gonna be something that they'll think about, whether or not they share it with the rest of. Mike is more, for me, Mike is more likely to share that information. No, Mike probably not. Marianne is more likely to share it
Oh, yeah.
with the rest of the tribe. But Drea also has an idol. Yeah,
That's
so-
true. And
And
so they're the only people. So the only people that don't know about the idols are Roxroy and Tori,
yeah,
right? Because
yes,
Romeo and
technically,
Drea are like Shannon Ricard of the
yeah.
season.
Yes, yes, yeah, technically yes, only Tori and Roxroy don't know about the beware advantage. About, yeah, and they've never seen season 41, so they don't know that there exists a beware advantage. They're probably still gonna start looking for they're probably still gonna look for a hidden immunity idol somewhere, right? Not knowing that it's there, especially Tori,
Yeah.
since she's more likely to jump ship and try to look for any form of advantage that she can get, right? So yeah.
Maybe she'll look under the seat during one of the immunity challenges.
Oh, that from season 4, that was such a, oh, that was, but yeah,
If
there is still that, right? That was that idol something that came back because someone left with it in their pocket? No, it was an extra immunity idol, right?
uh, was it even an idol? Jeff just said it was an advantage. Mr. Jeff just said it was an advantage,
Oh, I yeah, because it was
right?
never found, right? Sander never found it.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was that was Sander, right? Yeah,
yeah.
he didn't find it. Yeah,
If we were
but
doing this, like, if we were doing this highs lows like thing last season, that would have been a low. Like, oh,
yeah,
he
that would
did
have been
find
a
it, and
big
no,
low.
I'm curious, but now we're not gonna know. Uh, like
Yeah, well, yeah.
one
One
thing
thing
to
that
be
I
predicted.
do see happening is that all of this tension between Marianne and Jonathan, because it's been going on for two
Yeah,
episodes already. It's going. This is, I think that this is the emotional decision that you said Marianne is gonna make. She's gonna start gunning for Jonathan. She it, because it seems that her disdain for the big guy is real, right?
yeah,
The whole, you know what, he's lucky because he's a good shield. That statement, and that
mm,
statement about, doesn't he know that pride is a sin? That those statements tell
yeah,
me that she has some real disdain for Jonathan. So I'm
yeah,
thinking that she's gonna start gunning for him. She's probably gonna start scheming with especially when they're already in the new tribe, in the unified tribe, the merged tribe. She's gonna start scheming, and it will open her up to manipulation from uh, people like Tori, people like Kai, from
yeah.
the other tribes. So yeah, who knows? It might be a Tori Marianne alliance. Yeah,
Hmm.
or even Roxroy might come in. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's something uh, that might come up. Any other thoughts that you have?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say that um moving forward, one of my hopes is that uh this season plays out like the previous one, in the sense that the pre-merge was where they got all of their advantages, and then after the merge was where we see all of the fallout,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like in 41, right, like nobody got an advantage really after the merge,
Yeah.
and so that was just us getting to see the social game plus sort of the fallout of all of the advantages, as opposed to like somebody finding an immunity idol at the 11th hour and you know like being safe for the night.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess the only time that it really came into play was, again, might not have been the best for the show, but great for us in our pick, was when Erica found that advantage like right at the end.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You're right. I do like that idea that all of the advantages, or even the idols, will have already been handed out, quote unquote. And yeah, we deal with how they're going to use all of those advantages come merge. Yeah.
Yeah, so, just let the chaos ensue, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it makes for funner TV, right? It makes it less of a scramble to look for the hidden immunity idol, and more of a scheming and more how do you say that? Lying and scheming. I don't know. Is lying a prerequisite on Survivor? You think?
Kind of, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, was it Daniel that said, like, it's oh, what's it? It's like his when he actually got to make a good analogy, like a boxer doesn't punch people in real life,
Mm.
but
Mm.
boxes people in the ring.
Uh-huh.
Like, people that otherwise wouldn't lie outside of Survivor lie in the game of Survivor.
Yeah, because that's what the game calls for. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
True.
what the game calls for. It's sort of like it's understood that we're
Yeah.
going to be lying to each other here.
Yeah.
That's sort of
The only important thing is you don't get caught in the lie.
yeah.
Right? Not like Swati did. Oh
Swati.
gosh. Right. Yeah.
Another thing moving forward, I do hope that they continue to keep the tribals small. Because like it, because they're coming in with 12, right? They're coming in
12.
with
There's 12.
12,
There's gonna be 12.
right? They're coming in with 12, but like the hourglass thing last season, like what it did was
It's split.
it split them so that there were only ever 6 people that were eligible to be voted out. And then there was another time where they had 2 tribal councils, where Evie and Nasir were voted off,
Mhm.
and those were 2 like small tribal, those were 2 small tribals. I kind of like that compared to like in
Having
the
like
past where you
12,
had like
11, 10.
yeah, yeah, like it seems like the stake, the stakes are higher, and you have to be like more on point with your gameplay
Mm.
because you don't really have that sort of leeway of throwing it over to somebody else that is inconsequential, because throwing it to somebody else is very consequential if there are only 6 of you eligible to be voted out.
That's true. That's true. So 12, so it's gonna be 6. The for the next episode is gonna be 6. And then for 11, how are you gonna go ahead and do that? I mean, yeah. It's gonna be an immunity challenge. It's gonna start becoming an individual immunity challenge.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how would that happen? But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting.
With the Evie Nasir one, was it 10? Was it?
Okay, yeah. So you'd still mix it in with like an entire group tribal, and then you have the splitting again, and then
yeah, I mean that's something that would make sense because I like having the small numbers. It makes it more exciting.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
because it's like nobody is safe.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So it makes for better TV, I think, as well. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes for better TV because going in, like, yeah, we know that people are safe, but we know that they aren't. Like, what's it? Going into tribal, it doesn't feel like anybody is 100% safe. Whereas if you have like 12 people eligible to be voted out, like,
yeah, it's easier. It's easy. It would be easier to hide as well if you have a larger number, because you'd have all of your alliances there.
Yeah.
But if you're split into 2 groups, you're not sure if your alliance in the merged tribe would be in that group that you're in, right? So yeah.
Though I'm not a fan of the randomness of it. Like I'm not fond of the rock draw. Like when they used to draft.
Yeah, they did. They used to draft. Like
right? And drafting was a way that everybody just sort of saw the pecking order.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I think what they could do is the rock draw. Oh, this can happen immediately at 12. The rock draw, instead of the 2 with the gray ones being the odd people out, they're the ones who choose the teams. right?
Yeah, you know, like I miss I I I like that idea
Mhm,
of drafting, you know,
mhm.
because that's how they used to do it in the what's it the old era. If we're calling this the new era, in the um advanced years era. What
The
was the thing
previous,
that
let's just call it the previous era
the
of
previous era?
Survivor. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was the thing that Evie said? Like later years or something?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
It was like her way of euphemizing old people was like later years or something like that. So okay.
I don't know. The Tito era. There,
The
let's do
Tito
it. Let's call
era.
it that. The Tito era. Right. Yeah. Any other thoughts or predictions?
I'm excited for the merge.
So am I. So am I. All right.
And
And I
and
think,
also
yeah.
and also knowing that they're probably not gonna end it on some stupid cliffhanger.
I hope not. I sincerely hope not. Yeah, we're not gonna end on a cliffhanger. We're gonna throw it over to our friend Martin right now with his thoughts on Martin's thoughts with Martin.
Martin.
Martin. Yeah.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
And for the next episode, we saw people dropping their buffs. You know it's going to be a merge, but no. No, it's not. That's what Jeff said. So if it's not a merge, it might be a swap, and it may be a two-tribe swap because there's already what? 12 of them? There is 12 of them. So two tribes of six, maybe in the next episode. But that's my predictions. What are yours, guys? Don't forget to subscribe here at Laro-Laro Lang YouTube page. And always listen to us here at the Council of Titos. This is not Martin. Martin.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for the endorsement, Martin. But anyway, yeah. So Martin is of the opinion that it's gonna just be a tribe swap. It's not gonna be a merge.
Maybe they're bamboozling us.
Yeah, maybe they are.
The
Maybe they
editors are
are.
bamboozling us. They're like, oh, you think you know what's going on, huh?
It's
No,
gonna
you
be a
don't.
tribe swap for one day, and then after that, you merge. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the two of us are of the opinion that they're gonna merge. Martin is of the opinion that they're gonna swap. We'll see who gets it right. We but then again, I've been of the opinion that it was gonna be a swap for the past couple of episodes, and now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a merge. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see who got it right. And
What was it that Jeff said? Mr. Jeff. What's the Mr. Jeff said? Not quite a merge.
not
What's a
quite
not
a merge.
what's not quite a merge?
I'm thinking it's for me. It's exactly what happened last time. It's not quite a merge yet, but at the end of the episode, you are going to merge. Yeah. So because that's exactly what happened the last time. People had to earn their way into the merge.
Yeah, so half, half of them are gonna get it, half of them are gonna have to earn it, or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Yeah. So something like that. That's what happened on season 41. Anyway, we'll find out next episode. But before we move to next episode, we have to recognize the castaways from this episode. So, Jao, who is your castaway of this episode?
Lydia,
Oh, why?
because she got confessionals.
Lydia, because she got confessionals. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I still have, I'm also on the Green Tribe. I'm also on Vati, but I found it hard to say. But yeah, it could have been Drea because this episode just showed how much power she now has, and she is the source of the title of this episode. But I'm liking the trajectory that Hai is on. Hai is on the rise. Hai is going to wreak havoc as a scheming, strategic player in the merge. Yeah, because he's very observant, and it showed here how he was able to do everything. How he was able to steer Vati to the vote. Yeah, so that's he's my castaway of the episode. What about
He
your
hasn't got
goat?
his.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't got his backstory yet, right? They haven't given his backstory yet in the episode in the show.
No, I don't think so. No, he hasn't had that confessional yet. No.
Yeah, because like that's the best way to know that they're going to be staying a little bit longer, right? Like if they
Yeah,
don't have their story told.
yeah, yeah. Because otherwise you're like open. You're open to get voted out already.
Yeah, I mean that's but like seriously though about Lydia, like it's good to see her get more character.
Like
Like
she's developing. She's
yeah,
we can see that she's developing.
yeah, like she's not like she's no longer just that Gen Z kid that like now learned how to live with like sand between her toes and more than just like Hai's sidekick, right? She's
Mhm.
like this was her moment to get her character developed
Mhm.
and it's really nice. I really like it
Nice.
that Lydia got it. Like, yeah, she's becoming more of a character now
Mhm.
and has agency or feels like she's gonna have more agency moving forward. So I guess that's
That's
that's a
always a
win for
good thing.
me.
That's always a good thing. It's always good to have more well-rounded characters in Survivor rather than like just a couple of them or a handful of them steamrolling all of the nondescript on cookie cutter characters. Yeah,
Yeah. So you know that was the win for me this week.
nice, nice. Now from the win, let's go to the loss, the goat of the episode. Who is your goat of this episode?
Daniel.
It's easy to say it's Daniel because he was the one that got voted out. But yeah, yeah.
I really can't think of anybody else though.
Hmm.
For real, like I
Just like how we couldn't really think of any low, this one was pretty
yeah,
straightforward. Whoever got voted out, they're the goat, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For me, more than him just being voted out, it's just really it's his gameplay. It just doesn't really appeal to me. And I'm so happy that he's already been voted out. That's why he's also my goat of this episode. What about your purple? Who is your purple of the episode?
Lindsay.
We have the same part. Yeah.
For a hot moment there, I forgot that she was the one that had like the
The advantage
three-way
amulet.
like advantage. Yeah.
Aside from that, she has had no highlights at all. She has not been featured at all, aside from being part of a winning team. But even though, all the more, I'm starting to think that she is gonna be the purple of this season. The
Well, at
moment we
least
get a Lindsay focused episode, that's her day. That's her day. Yeah.
yeah. Well, at least we know that she plays Mario Kart
She plays Mario Kart. Yeah.
and plays hot and cold.
Yeah. And knows the intricacies of hot and cold. Oh, Lindsay. I hope that we get to know you a little better. Anyway.
Or maybe it's just that she's being overshadowed by three like
Oh,
big personalities in her tribe, diba?
yeah.
Because let's face it, Jonathan, Marianne, and Omer are quite
Mhm.
big
And
in
I
their
think it's also,
personalities.
yeah, I think it's also part of her personality to really, okay, she's like the emotional support of everyone else. I think that's the role she plays. I think I mentioned this in our last episode. She plays that role. She's the emotional support. She's the one she's the caretaker. She's
Yeah,
the caretaker that Tori wants to be perceived
which
as.
kind of lends itself to a purple edit, I guess.
I guess. Yeah, true. True. Hopefully though, she doesn't get purple edited out when she finally gets focused on or highlighted by in an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our so that's going to be that's is that an actual term? Getting purpled out?
No, no.
Or is that a
That's something that we've got. We're
right? We're coining that. We're coining
coining
that.
that. Purpled out.
Purpled out.
You're
It's like getting
purpled out
idled out,
when it
but
yeah.
like worse.
Yeah. You're purpled out when it's like when you've been purpled the entire season, and then when you finally get your highlight, then you get voted out. You're purpled out. There.
Alright.
You heard it here first, guys. Or at least we think you heard it here first. I've never heard it anywhere else.
Purpled out. Like getting idled out, but worse.
But worse. Okay. And that is it for this episode of the Council of Titos. We might get a merge or not quite a merge. We'll have to wait and see next episode. Anyway, if you liked our video, hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. Also, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever you come up with new content on the Laro-Laro Lang channel. This channel has other shows on it focused on sports and other similar things. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon.
And I am your number one, Zhao.
We hope you can join us on the council again next time. Until then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.